Hello, angelic beings. Hello, light workers of the world. Hello, everyone. How are you on this day? The topic of today's transmission, when I feel into the energy, is in the name of global peace, finding true, lasting safety that doesn't have to be conditioned by other people's behavior. And so the question becomes, how can we feel safe no matter how anyone else chooses to conduct themselves? And while there are many layers to finding safety, such as spending time with our breath, spending time in stillness, spending time loving yourself and taking care of yourself, spending time in a meditative state that doesn't push away any feeling within you and allows you to be with anything and everything. I think an important component to safety is our ability to say no. Because if we are free to truly say an authentic no to everything that doesn't resonate with you, you will find the safety to be authentic, the safety to live with an open heart. And it is all about saying no. And it's not necessarily about saying no to everyone and everything, but just the things that don't resonate with us. Because unless we learn how to say no to the things that don't resonate, we will not have the capacity to say a true, heartfelt yes to the things that are aligned with our deepest heart's desire. And I think one of the most unsuspecting ways through which we perpetuate unsafety, or through which we perpetuate our tendency to say no when we sometimes mean yes, but to mainly to say yes when we mean no, when we don't want to. One of the ways through which we do that is something we call FOMO, the fear of missing out. The fear of missing out. Now this goes beyond just perhaps feeling like we need to go to a party where our friends are at. But our fear of missing out is actually responsible for why most of us don't have the habit of living in alignment with our soul. Because in every moment, there is simply one choice. One choice. Not many choices. One choice that is fully aligned with your soul. And then there are all these other options, all these other choices that we can choose from. But only one of those choices is fully aligned with your spirit. It's not kind of aligned, it's not maybe a little bit aligned, it's fully aligned. And our safety lies within our ability to say no to everything that doesn't fully resonate with you. And the only reason why we don't say no to those things is our fear of missing out. But let me give you a universal truth. You cannot miss out on the things that you are meant to experience. You cannot miss out on the most important experiences of your life, because those are destined, and the universe will always course correct you so you can find yourself exactly where you are meant to be at the exact time when you're meant to be there. And so you cannot miss out on everything that is meant for you. And the only thing that you can miss out on are all the choices that pull you further away from being completely aligned with your consciousness. Because there is the way through which the soul moves through time and space, and there is the way through which the ego operates. And those two paths do not intersect. The ego is fueled by the fear of missing out. And the way it perpetuates the fear of missing out is making sure that it always has enough options, enough movies to choose from, enough dishes to choose from, enough partners, enough places to live, enough work opportunities. But the soul always resonates with only one choice at a time, because there is one thing the soul knows how to do, and there's one thing the ego doesn't know how to do, and in fact cannot do. What the ego cannot do, and the soul always does, is commit. The soul is always committed to whatever is right in front of it. The ego looks around for alternatives. Now this goes so deep that this is actually what allows us to heal different degrees of trauma and abuse. Because when you are in an abusive situation, they're usually excuse me. That was unexpected. And I didn't have any other choice. It was just my soul coughing. I didn't go looking around, oh my god, what if I could not cough? What are my other options? No. Only one option. Only one option. Anyway, the fear of missing out can go as far as to help us heal any abusive dynamic. Because when we are in an abusive situation, there is mainly one choice that is viable for your own safety. And that choice is to leave. Now, when we are lost in our conditioning, we like to look at all the other options, such as try to reason with someone who's not ready to be reasonable, try to placate, try to blame ourselves for what someone else is doing to us, perhaps think to ourselves, well, what have I done to manifest this? Are my manifestation skills broken? But whenever abuse or any degree of trauma is present, there is only one choice that guarantees your safety, and that is to leave. And it doesn't even mean that you are turning your back on the other person. Because when you leave an abusive situation, you are giving the perpetrator the appropriate amount of space that they need to actually develop the mindfulness to treat other beings in a way where they don't take out their pain on them. And so when we leave an abusive situation, we are giving the perpetrator a chance to reflect. When we are spending time with them, we are being a distraction on their spiritual journey. And so the moment someone turns on you and starts mistreating you, you can be certain that you are being a distraction for the other person. The moment someone is being mean to you, judging you, treating you harshly, it is their soul's way of saying, your light shines far too brightly for me to be able to function in your presence with full responsibility. And so I ask you, please give me the space that I need so I can reflect and improve my conduct. And so whenever there is an abusive situation, there is only one thing that is being asked of you. Please leave. And then you can experience a backlash from the other person's ego. Like, oh my gosh, you are leaving me. How can you do this to me? They starting treating you as if you were the perpetrator or abuser, which is just a form of gaslighting. And so we don't allow ourselves to be manipulated, and we say, no, thank you. I'm saying no as a way of giving myself the safety that I need. And I'm saying no as a way of giving you the space that you need. And so walking away is the most compassionate option for both of us. You don't need to fight someone who is mistreating you, because any moment spent fighting is more time that you are spending in an unsafe situation. And your inner child actually registers that as a form of betrayal, because your inner child relies on you, on safety. And so the inner child says, please make sure that we are always safe. And the moment you stay in an unsafe environment as a way of trying to prove anything, or as a way of trying to win, even though when we may feel like we are right and we are being wronged, our inner child is going to feel betrayed. And so in the name of global peace, in the name of safety and sovereignty of all sentient beings, please say this healing mantra with me out loud. May I say no to any unsafe or abusive situation. For when I am being mistreated, it is the perpetrator who is on a soul level begging for space. When I don't give the space that they need, while equally giving myself the safety that I need, my inner child is going to feel betrayed, as if I had become an accomplice to the perpetrator. Because when I stay in an abusive situation, I am becoming an ally to the mistreatment of me. When I leave an abusive situation, I am becoming an ally to the innocence within me. And once I become an ally to the innocence within me, it receives the permission to heal and transform. But not until I have made sure the true safety is going to be my one and only priority. For staying in abusive situations perpetuates the cycle of abuse far too deeply, and it is the complete opposite of what I deserve. And just feel into those words. Feel the untangling of energetic cords that fall away from all these situations and memories that we carry, where we are unable or incapable of saying no. But because the light of your consciousness is now here, you can say no to anything and everything that actually harms you. And once you leave the unsafe, abusive environment, then you can remain in stillness and find deeper healing and safety within that stillness, to find deeper peace. But not until you remove yourself from a harmful environment. Because if you tried being still in a harmful environment, you're just going to make yourself in a bigger target for people to attack. And so we first need to walk away and leave, and then practice stillness, meditation, yoga, healing, anything that you desire to utilize on your journey of healing and awakening. No longer being afraid of missing out, because everything that is meant for you cannot miss you, and everything you are meant to experience, you will. And only the things that distract you from the light of your unconsciousness and from the unity with your own light and love can you actually miss out on. But it's not really as much of a missing out. It is more of a sigh of relief of being able to come home to yourself. And when we are going through the journey of awakening, when we are following our path, because we are walking a path unlike the world has walked up until this point, it can seem like we are going against the world. It can even feel like, when we are really afraid of our own power, that through our choices that return us back to ourselves, we are somehow taking away from or harming the world around us, because we are becoming unlike the world has ever been. And on a subconscious level, because we are becoming unlike the world, it can almost feel like we are taking away from the world. But the only thing that is being taken away are the distractions. And what is awakening within you is a far deeper alignment that you can then model to the world as you lead by example. And so consciousness always leads by example. It doesn't wait for the world to change. We don't do that. It doesn't wait for other people to be okay with your choices. We don't do that either. Consciousness doesn't need anyone's permission to follow its own path. For consciousness is the permission of everything. Because I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but when you are around a high-level, awake, embodied being, one of the gifts they're going to give you is, please be just as you are. Because that is the absolute permission. Whenever there is an expectation that you have to be a certain way in order to fit into the way that I see you and the way that I want you to be, is the play of ego. And that is yet another thing you have a full and absolute permission to say no to. And say no. No, I will not be the way you want me to be. I will just be myself. I will not be the way you're asking me to be. I will just be myself. I will not be the way you demand me to be. I will just be myself. For as the light of consciousness, I give myself the full permission to be just as I am. That is equally why within true authentic spirituality, you are never really going to find any rules of engagement or behavior or how one should be. Because whenever there's too many rules, it just becomes a game for the ego. And the ego loves the game of rules. It's always looking for the right way to do things. But because everything is always changing and evolving, the light doesn't have a set of rules of how things should be. The light always has simply a momentum and trajectory to be in harmony with whatever reality is. And so may this be a liberation for you, that you don't have to be a certain way in order to feel like you are awake or enlightened or healed. You are not meant to be one way over another. You are simply meant to be the way that you are, with an intention to fully harmonize with everything within you. To be in a peaceful, harmonious state with exactly how you are. And so the goal is not to never be angry. The goal is to be in harmony with your anger. The goal is never not to be sad, but simply to be in harmony and full commitment with sadness. The goal is not to never feel grief, but to fully align with the part of you that needs to grieve and support it and love it. The goal is never not to feel guilty, but allow the guilt to liberate itself through our willingness to face it fully. And so consciousness will never ask you to be a certain way. It will simply invite the most loving, supportive, and harmonious relationship with everything within you. I will even say that the state that you are in does not determine your level of consciousness at all, actually. Because your state just comes and goes, just like the waves of the ocean. Your consciousness simply wants to align in harmony with the state that you are in. And the only thing that matters is what is the relationship with my experience. Is it a relationship through which I can love and support myself? Or is it a relationship through which I feel like I am perpetuating rigidity and a lack of care for myself? The only thing that matters is your relationship with your experiences. That is the ultimate spiritual teaching. Awakening is not a shift in state. Awakening is a shift in which you, or through which you relate to things. Awakening is not being blissed out all the time. It is simply the relationship you have with all phenomena. You do not recognize the divine by how blissed out of its mind it always is. And the divine is probably blissed out of its mind all the time. Let's be honest. But the most important thing divinity will teach you is by how it relates to you. When you meet a spirit guide, when you meet an angel, when you meet a good spiritual teacher, one of the primary ways through which they will teach you is by how they relate to you, how they treat you. What you will learn from high-level spiritual beings is how to love yourself and care for yourself just by how graciously they are relating to you. Anyone who's aligned with consciousness is never judgmental. It's never critical. Is never projecting. But always beaming with the utmost love and care for you and the absolute commitment to your light, to seeing your light, and to honoring your light. And so why don't we start treating ourselves the way the divine always does? Why don't we start treating ourselves with the utmost respect? And in the name of global peace, the more respect and love and care we show to ourselves, the more of that vibration will then radiate for other beings to drink in and to experience in their own lives. Because remember what we said, consciousness leads by example. And when you start treating yourself with respect, love, and care, people around the world, because it's such a high vibration, will start following your example. And it will start with yourself, where you notice that, oh my God, wow, I'm treating myself with more respect than ever. Then you will notice that your closest circle of friends and family may start treating you differently. Then perhaps distant relatives, extended family, start treating you with deeper respect. And if they don't, we simply walk away. Because even that is a teaching of respect towards ourselves that in turn teaches someone else how to respect others. And so we don't demand respect. We simply treat ourselves with respect that will over time teach other people how to respect themselves and how to respect us. We don't demand respect. We command it by how we respect ourselves. Until other people have no other option but to follow the lead of respect. Respect is one of the main distinctions between consciousness and conditioning. It is one of the main attributes of divinity. The utmost, absolute, holy reverence and respect. And the moment you are not being respected by anyone at all, guess what? You have a right to walk away. The moment you are not being respected by anyone at all, you have a right to leave. Because that is a choice through which your deepest vulnerability will be honored and respected. And again, anything else in a disrespectful situation, besides making sure that we are being respected by usual walking away, anything else that we choose is simply our fear of missing out. And we believe that if I'm going to leave, I'm not going to find another person, and so I would rather be with someone who doesn't fully respect me, rather than by being all by myself. But when you are with yourself, it is time for you to respect you, for you to respect your own feelings, for you to respect your own body by any choice that you make. And so may respect become the primary intention you have throughout your life. And you will be amazed how safe you are going to feel. Now, if you want, you can interact with me in the chat. Let me know how you feel. Let me know how this is resonating. And if not, we can just continue and bring this transmission slowly to a conclusion. Okay, it doesn't sound like anyone is wanting to share anything. And so let me just say, with the deepest love, reverence, and respect, thank you for being here. Thank you for being committed to your spiritual journey. Thank you for being committed to who you are. Tomorrow we are doing a healing event. I can already feel the energy pouring through me that we will all experience as an energetic portal, healing all of us, ushering us into new timelines and realities. And so if you yet haven't signed up, please do so. I would love to see you there. with the deepest love, care, and respect that you always deserve. This is it for today. This transmission in the name of global peace. May respect, peace, and love be known in every heart, just as you are. Divinity in form. Now finally, respecting itself. All my love to you. Namaste.